Good evening. I would like to call the Governing Board meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District to order on Wednesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded, so I ask that you kindly turn off or silence your cell phones at this time. Members of the public are welcome to speak to the board on items that are on the agenda or during public comments for items that are not on the agenda. If you do wish to speak to the board, please fill out a blue comment card that you'll find in the back of the room, and we will know when to call upon you. Tonight we do have some special guests with us from Hanson Elementary School. Principal Baptista is here with a few of her students, and I would like to invite them to the podium at this time to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. I'm Michelle Baptista. I'm the principal at Hanson Elementary School, and I'm very excited to share some of the things that have been happening at our school with you. I brought with us some of our fabulous ASB students that are going to take over the presentation. There you go.
Before we start, we would just like to thank everyone here for listening to our presentation, and we would like to mention what goes on at Hanson.
My name is Yalini.
My name is Vamsika.
My name is Sridita.
My name is Sarah.
And my name is Sanvi.
And we're all members of ASB and NJHS, and we're here to present to you about what we do at Hanson.
Recently, Hanson was named as a 2025 California Distinguished School. We were recognized for exceptional student performance, not just academically. We were also recognized for demonstrating strong student engagement and a positive school climate. We're all proud to be Tigers here.
So what really makes Hanson special? Our principal, vice principal, teachers, and faculty at Hanson try to foster a close-knit society, which makes it easy for students to interact within and outside their grade level. We do this with events like fundraisers, educational olympiads, clubs and events, and assemblies.
Hanson has many different events in the community. Some of these include rallies, family events, and spirit days. As you can see in the pictures, we do like the kindness tree, homecoming parades, movie nights, and dances. My personal favorite is the kindness tree because we get to see different kids from the school and why they think they're kind.
Student recognition. In Hanson, students are recognized for how they behave. So Hanson encourages students to build their foundations on honesty, respect, and school spirit. One way is by Tiger tickets. Hanson staff and teachers give Tiger tickets to students who perform and behave well in class and outside of class. Also, at the end of each month, our principal, Ms. Baptista, and vice principal, Ms. Soares, hands out Student of the Month awards selected for certain traits to students at the end of each month. And this is displayed at the picture over there. Like, there's a party at the end of each month for the students who get it.
Hanson has several rallies, events, and fundraisers which enable people of different grade levels to interact with one another. Some ways we do this are Dippin' Dots, we're expected to follow the roar, fun runs, candygrams, school dances, purposeful people in Character Strong, movie night, and Rochambeau. One of my personal favorites was definitely the movie night. It's something we just started this year, and it's just a fun way for kids to go outside of school, enjoy a fun event with snacks and drinks being sold.
As you guys know already, ASB is an organization of student leaders that represent our school. In our ASB, we focus on organizing events, planning assemblies, dances, and fundraisers. Including this, we also spread spirit throughout our entire school to students. This year, our 8th grade ASB members had an opportunity to go to Castle and experience leadership activities. Also, in our ASB, we try being role models to younger grades and inspire them to be future leaders by encouraging them to join ASB and share their ideas and better the school.
This year, 8th graders in ASB were taken to Santa Clara to participate in the Castle Conference. Students were permitted to attend different workshops about how they can become improved leaders. One of our Hanson members also participated in Meet the Pros, where she discussed the psychology of decision making. Great America was also included in the ticket. We also had keynote speakers come and talk about their own experiences and just a little bit about their perspectives. As you can see in the pictures, we also had a dance. Personally, that was one of my favorite parts about the Castle State Conference.
NJHS. Not only ASB, but NJHS is one of the many clubs in Hanson Elementary. Mountain House High School offers NHS, which is National Honor Society. Basically, NJHS is like the 6th through 8th version of it. Students get to go in several community projects, and my personal favorite is Trunk or Treat, where kids get to donate candy on Halloween.
The biggest part of NJHS are the volunteering hours. Students volunteer inside and outside of school by helping teachers and assisting in the planning of events. They can also use this opportunity to volunteer outside of our community.
So these are just some photos about what we do at Hanson. As you could see, we have several assemblies where the tiger dresses up and students are basically talking about the character trait of the month and handing out trimester awards. We also had a cow come to our school where students got to learn about like dairy, about different supplies, all that stuff. And we also, one of my favorite events, before winter break, we had this snow machine. We also had a Grinch come, and it was really fun. Just a fun way for everyone to enjoy spring break and foster school spirit.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you so much, students, for being here. Does anybody have any comments for our students?
Great job. If you guys don't know, my two kids go to Hanson and they're in kindergarten and second grade, and Tiger tickets is what they look forward to when they get them and they get to redeem them. So love the program, love to see the support, and you guys are doing great.
Well, thanks again for being here, and you are welcome to leave at this point. I know it's the end of the school year and you're probably studying for final exams and things of that nature. So best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Benita Daniel.
Here.
Samik Modi.
Here.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Devika Vitolani.
Here.
Thank you. Item 4, approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Modi, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item 5, committee reports. Item A, the District Advisory Committee, that's me. Our next meeting is Wednesday, May 26th at 6:15 here in the District Office Boardroom. Item B, District English Language Advisory Committee, trustee Modi.
The DLEC meeting was held on April 17th in conjunction with the Education Committee, attended by district staff, several community members or parents, and myself and trustees Pombo and Belay. Meeting covered the local control accountability plan. There was a request from a parent to have a video from that meeting available. We suggested that this content has been presented multiple times in different forums, some of which have been at board meetings, which have been videotaped. So one suggestion was to have a library of topics of maybe clip videos of different presentations that might be more meaningful for the community. But that's it from that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, Education Committee, trustee Pombo.
Yes, as trustee Modi mentioned, the last meeting was a joint meeting with the DLAC committee where we discussed the LPAC. And at this time, I would just like to thank the members, both staff and board members of the Education Committee for their service this school year.
Thank you. Item D, Facilities Committee, Trustee Olson.
There will be a Facilities Committee meeting tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. here in the District Office Boardroom.
Thank you. Item E, Policy Committee, Trustee Daniel.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Item F, Safety Committee, Trustee Pombo.
Other than thanking the committee for their service this year, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. And item G, Wellness Committee, Trustee Olson.
Likewise, other than thanking the committee for their service this year, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Item 6, Governing Board Reports. Student Board Member Vitellani.
Good evening, board members. I would like to start with ASB updates. So our Golden Hour themed prom is coming up this Saturday, and all the students are extremely excited, and it will be held at the San Francisco Exploratorium. We also have our exciting senior trip to Universal Studios from May 21st to May 22nd. We also had our senior awards night this Monday. As usual, it was a great turnout, and lots of seniors won amazing awards, and we're extremely proud of them. For additional high school updates, we actually have PBS visiting us in our Law and Society class this Friday. So their purpose to visit this Friday is to capture our projects on civic engagement and really seeing how students are being involved in their high school and community, and we're excited for that to stream on television. We have our capstone ceremony for all the seniors happening on May 16th, and this is to recognize all the seniors who have completed a CTE pathway in high school. As AP week and finals week is coming up, we wish all of the Mustangs a very best of luck. Our spring dance production was held last Friday, and as always, it was a fantastic display and a great turnout as usual. So tonight will actually be my last meeting with the board, as I will be attending the senior trip on the 21st and traveling this summer. And serving on the board these past 2 years has been an incredible honor, and I've learned so much along the way. It's giving me the chance to actually have an impact at our high school, and I'm extremely grateful to have been to collaborate with one of the most passionate leaders that I know at Mountain House, and to grow both professionally and personally. From advocating for students at our high school to 8th grade, and building connections across the community, every single moment on this board has been a very valuable memory for me. And over my past 2 years, I've noted some qualities from each and every one of you that I hope to carry along with me to college. Dr. Nicholas, I've learned so much from your support and wisdom. The information you always share is thorough. I don't remember any topic that you brought up without having each and every single detail to share with us, and I really appreciate that about you. Ms. Olson, your insights and experience have been invaluable. The way you speak about law school really inspires me to go ahead and pursue my dreams. Ms. Boulay, your kindness truly makes a huge difference. Every time I walk in, I always see you smiling, and that really makes me and really motivates me to work forward. Mr. Pombo, your experience is the foundation for our work at our district, and thank you so much for your guidance. Ms. Daniel, your willingness to learn truly inspires me. Each and every single question that you ask and the input that you provide to the board really motivate me to work much more harder. Mr. Modi, your ability to break down each and everything that happens at our board meetings really inspires me, and it's taught me to look at each and every single detail. And lastly, Noel, since day one, you've been the one person that could truly reach out to and ask any questions or even ask for help, and it's made it extremely welcoming for me. And I will dearly hold on to each and everything that I've learned from all of you, and I hope that Donovan, our new student board member for next year, will also appreciate that. At this time, if he could introduce himself.
Thank you, Divika. Ms. Boulay, trustees. My name is Donovan. I currently serve as this year's district board representative. A little bit about me. I've been at Mountain House since I was 3, so I've lived through all our historic moments, our high school, Safeway, our T-Hub. I've been around for it all, and very excited to be here. A little bit more about me. I'm also involved in leadership with Devika. I serve as the sophomore leadership president. And then outside of our high school, I also serve as the Castle State Board Director of Operations. So Hanson just talked about their involvement in Castle. I serve as a board member for that organization. This is my 3rd year on the board, so also very excited. And yeah, this is my first time here at the board meeting as a district board representative, so very excited to be with you all today. Thank you again, and I'm ready to get started.
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of the board and the district, Devika, we are very, very honored to have had you serving with us. It was great to get to know you, and we wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors. And Donovan, we welcomed you to the board, and I'm sure you're going to provide some great insight with all your leadership experience. And Devika, if you can meet us at the front of the podium, please. We have something for you. Okay, Trustee Olson, you're next.
Thank you, President Boulay. I attended the last 3 showings of Les Miserables, and they were all great again. I also attended the Matilda production presented by Wickland Elementary School, and that was also a wonderful production, and it's amazing what the parent volunteers in this community will do to help serve our students and to help support our educators. And I know that those students value those experiences. I attended on April 29th the CSBA webinar, Legal Considerations Using AI Tools. And I have the slides from that presentation. If anybody's interested in taking a look, just email me. And today I attended the State of the County inaugural event put on by the San Joaquin County Office of Education. And it was really wonderful to see all of the wonderful things happening in our county, the wonderful support that the County Office of Education is. But it gave me great pride to be wearing the Lammersville tag saying I represent Lammersville because our school district does wonderful things, and I'm so grateful that our students have the dedication that our leaders provide. And I'd like to conclude my board report just by welcoming Donovan for next year. Congratulations. I coached him in flag football, and was very well-rounded, so it'll be fun to have you. And Devika, you will be very missed. I know you're going to be successful at whatever you do, but law is great, like you said, and so I'm excited to hear about what direction you go there. But your time here was very wonderful. You also taught us a lot, and I really appreciate the way you served and worked so hard for the students in our district. Thank you.
Ms. Olson.
Thank you. Trustee Modi.
Thank you. I've missed the last 2 board meetings, unfortunately, with some work travel. I do regret the absences, as I want to be a present board member. I'm thankful for my fellow trustees for their attendance that allows district business to continue. I will unfortunately miss the June 4th meeting, as I will be in Indianapolis for work travel. But I do look forward to discussing potential remote attendance during our June board workshops, as I think that could be a meaningful way to accommodate, limited work travel that I have. Potentially did schedule July personal travel around the board meeting so that I can attend. In April, I volunteered at Hanson for the TKK Egg Hunt, attended the Hanson Talent Show and Multicultural Show, and attended the high school's presentation from UC Berkeley for our admitted seniors that had yet to be, several of them had yet to commit to Berkeley. So that was nice to see the students and the presentation from the school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Congratulations to Devika. You've been great to sit next to for the last few months, and I wish you all the best and success in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Trustee Daniel.
Thank you, President.
On April 19th, the morning I attended the Mountain House Children's Business Fair. It was founded by Akshita Jagan, a high school freshman. It's actually an event for young entrepreneurs ages 5 to 18, and they present their creative products. So there were 51 of our LUSD kids presenting 31 booths, and there were 15 volunteers who helped organize the event. And I had the privilege of presenting the awards. It was just a fantastic event to see little cute entrepreneurs there. On the same day afternoon, I attended a cancer awareness fundraiser collecting funds for Nellai Cancer Institute, and this was led by Yalini Sampath Kumar, a high school student of ours, along with the volunteers from Sustainability Club and advisor Ms. Laila Taif. And this hosted 100 guests, and they raised $4,000 for the hospital. So that was a wonderful event to be at and witness all the healthy eating. And if you remember, Yalini was one of the TED Talk event presenter, and she talked about no sugar. And that was something I took back 2 years ago, and I got to be at the event that she organized, which was all about healthy eating. So it was just great to be there. On the same day evening, I attended Les Miserables play along with Trustee Olson. And as always, it was a beautiful performance by our drama students. And that particular night was a seniors' night. And Miss Hornbacher, I always wait to hear her talk after she presents the seniors. And this time she did mention that they were all pretty sad that it was ending, but she let them know that it's family and, you can always come back. And I have to attest to that because my daughter, she's now, she graduated 3 years back, but she still keeps in touch with her drama friends, and she still keeps me updated about the plays that are going to happen at our high school, and she looks forward to being there whenever possible. So I have to say that it is pretty much a family to them, and that's such a wonderful, wonderful program that's run by Ms. Hanbacher. So on April 20th, I was invited to the Easter egg hunt, and I attended that, which was organized by the Mountain House Chambers along with Preston Belay. On April 30th, I attended the UC Berkeley event with other trustees. Congratulations to all the high schoolers who got selected. We're just so proud of you all. On May 1st, I visited the second graders from Ms. Cafferty's class at Lammersville. So I was handed a yellow envelope last board meeting, and I actually thought, okay, this is a document I'm going to take back to read at home. So when I went home and I opened, I was just overwhelmed with all the letters and drawings which I received from each and every kid of the second grader class to whom I had read during the Read Across America. And I sat down. I was actually overjoyed. So my husband was watching TV, and I was like, you need to see what I'm having here, because I was really happy and excited because I thought it was a document which I was going to read. So anyway, I read through each and every letter. They all thanked me, but they had used such kind words. And second graders, they had used such, it was so innocent and kind at the same time. Some of them had asked me, do you read to your kids? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite book? And so on. So that I was overwhelmed with the kindness. So I reached out to Ms. Cafferty, and I wanted to appreciate the effort that they had put in. So I scheduled a few minutes, and I visited the class. The book I had read was Smart Cookie. So I took 2 packs of cookies for them, and it was a beautiful moment. I had written personalized thank you cards for each of the kids. So I went, I handed it to them. They were all, they asked me, could we read the card now? And, the Miss Cafferty said yes. So after reading the card, they just voluntarily came and hugged me, and they said, oh, I really like your card. And it was just so beautiful. That day was just so precious to me. And I have to say, in every role, we have hard days. And I've had hard days in this role, but that particular day is just one of the sweetest. It negated every hard day. So I'm so thankful to Ms. Cafferty for taking the effort and also, teaching one of the most important life skill to the second graders, which is thankfulness and being kind. And on May 7th, today morning, along with all the other trustees, I attended the San Joaquin State of Education Expo and presentation, the inaugural event. It was lovely to see our school's video being represented as part of mental wellness. We also had a letter which Noel designed beautifully, so thanks to Noel for that. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, so I would like to thank every teacher and appreciate their time and effort, every substitute teacher, every admin for their effort in helping our kids towards their future. And we are also going to have AP exams, and the finals are going to come up, so all the best to all the high schoolers and the students who are taking finals. Do well. We are so proud of all the effort you're putting in. And lastly, thanks to our student board member, Devika. You will definitely be missed. Thank you for your kind words towards me. Keep learning. It's always great. And welcome, Donovan. Welcome to the board. Thank you. There ends my report.
Thank you. Trustee Pombo.
I'd like to start off by thanking student trustee Divika for her dedication the last couple of years. You were definitely a welcome addition to this board. Your insight on things was helpful to me, and I believe the rest of the board. So thank you and good luck in your future endeavors. And I would like to welcome Donovan to the board. I'm sure you will be a good addition to this board as well. On April 17th, I attended the Cordes Farmers Market. Always fun to see the kids enjoying fresh fruits and vegetables. That evening, I attended the aforementioned Education DLAC meeting. On April 23rd, I attended the LSF meeting where we discussed the auction dinner that LSF had hosted a few weeks ago, and they shared that $13,000 were in profits were made by the foundation. Should be helpful to the school. On April 26th through April 30th, Dr. Nicholas and I attended the Coast to Coast event in Washington, D.C., which is a joint event between CSBA and AXA, where we, along with over 300 other board members, superintendents, and school staff, advocated to federal lawmakers on issues concerning public education, including funding. Our contingent was able to meet with 2 local congressmen, Josh Harder and Eric Swalwell, where we shared the need for continued federal dollars to supplement our education budget here in Lammersville Unified. On May 1st, I attended the Hanson DARE graduation. Always enjoy the DARE graduations, even if I botch the names that I read for recognition for the students. I still enjoy it. On May 4th, I attended the Guru Vanda Teacher Appreciation event hosted by HSS USA, where they recognized teachers from the area for their contribution to learning. On May 5th, I attended the Senior Awards Night at Mountain House High School, where I'm proud to announce my granddaughter Zoe won the 4C Awards, which is for communication, critical thinking, citizenship, and character. Very proud of that. And I also awarded the David D. Pombo Memorial Scholarship to Michaela Aquino, a very deserving young lady. And today I attended with most of the rest of the board the San Joaquin County State of Education event in Stockton. Then I, along with trustees Boulay and Olson, attended the Fentanyl High screening at City Hall, after which I had a Zoom meeting for Region 8 delegates for CSBA, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. As for my report, on April 17th, I attended the combined DLAC and education meeting. On the 18th, I attended the Matilda Junior play at Wickland Elementary. And as Trustee Olson said, I would love to give a shout out to the parents and all the volunteers, the teachers that helped put on that production. Particularly working a musical with a lot of little ones, it's very challenging. You have to have a ton of patience, and all of the volunteers did a fabulous job. They always put on a good show, so I appreciate their efforts. On the 19th, I attended the Mountain House High School car show, and I'm not an expert on old cars or cool cars, but there were a lot of old cars and cool cars there, so that was great. Hopefully it was a great fundraiser for our high school. On the 30th, I attended the UC Berkeley presentation with some of the other trustees here. And I would like to say that from what I understand, one of the reasons that UC Berkeley came to do this presentation for our high school students is that our high school had one of the biggest populations of admitted students to UC Berkeley this year throughout the state of California, or at least through the region, but I like to say the state of California. So I could be wrong, that's okay. But I'm very proud of all our students and for our high school staff for doing such a great job with our kids and getting them to where they need to be after graduation. On May 5th, I attended the high school senior awards night with some of the other trustees. And again, always proud of the kids that are getting awards, award after award after award. Lots of awards that night. In fact, so many awards that some of them had separate nights for their awards, and then there'll be other awards at different events. And so we really have a successful program at our high school. So again, congratulations to our staff and our teachers at the high school for doing such a great job. And then earlier today with other trustees and with Dr. Nicholas and Noel, I attended, and lots of other district staff that were here today, the State of the Education event that was put on by San Joaquin County Office of Education. They did a great job, and I would like to give a shout out to Executive Director Busatil for helping with the video that was highlighted for our district, and for Noelle for her creative expertise on our letter that was displayed at the front of the auditorium. So thank you for your work. And then earlier today, I attended the Fentanyl High viewing that was put on at the town hall, and that was a powerful movie. Kind of sombering, but it was powerful, and I think it provides a really good message. And I know that fentanyl education, I think fentanyl education is now a state law for high school kids. And personally, I hope that the message is being delivered over and over and over again, not just a one-time message for students, because there's a lot of times along their path that they can stumble and fall, and we need to make sure that they don't do that. So I'm grateful to our wellness programs at our schools. all of our schools, not just our high school, that help these kids. And then finally, Devika, thank you again for your 2 years of hard work here on the board. I really enjoyed working with you and getting to know you, and wish you the best of luck. And welcome to Donovan. I look forward to working with you. And that's the end of my report. Receiving of public comments, item 7. I don't have any blue cards. Is there any member of the audience who wishes to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, I will move on to the next item, item 8, consent items for consideration. Actions proposed for consent are consistent with the approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. Trustees receive board agenda background information in advance of scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with knowledge on the consent items. Item A, governing board meeting minutes from the regular meeting of April 16th. Item B, contracts under $50,000. Item C, ratification of certificated and classified personnel actions. Item D, updated 2024-2025 fundraisers. Item E, ratification of 2024-2025 interdistrict transfer requests. Item F, ratification of 2025-2026 inter and intra-district transfer requests. Item G, ratification of budget revisions for March 2025. Item H, approval of early high school graduation or reduction of graduation requirements petition for 1 student. Item I, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips. And item J, acceptance of donations, $10 from Cindy Sosa towards the Lammersville Elementary School, California Junior Scholarship Federation. Would any member of the board like to pull any of these items for discussion or special consideration?
Move to approve consent items.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Pombo and a second by Trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Madam Clerk, would you please do the honors?
Yes. We'd like to welcome the following. I'll start with the 24-25 hires. Rosa Blay, food service worker. Ashley Deniker, supervisor of food service. Kayla De La Cruz, school secretary 1. Sumathi Ramkumar, food service worker. And Maria Guadalupe Rios Soto, food service worker. And for the 2025-2026 school year, Janie Caldwell, special education teacher. Merlin Sharian, speech language pathologist. And Nandini Nathan, high school vice principal. Welcome to the Lammersville family.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And Nandini Nathan is in the audience today. I would like to invite you to come up to the podium. We welcome you, and we would like to hear a little bit about you, please.
Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm excited to join the team, and I'm looking forward to I'm so nervous. I'm looking forward to working with all the staff and students and learning along with them. Yeah.
Thank you, and welcome again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Item 9, district administrative reports. Item A, superintendent's report.
Okay, I have a little longer list of things because it's the end of the year, but it will be the most well-rounded set of announcements I've had maybe in a long while. But first, I'd like to share with Devika an observation of mine, since she shared lovely observations of all of us. So you entered the board trustee role a couple years ago, came in, and I could tell you were very serious and you were determined to do a good job, but it was kind of a mystery. You could see it on your face. You were trying to figure it out. And each meeting, you could see you figured out something a little bit more and a little bit more. And somewhere along the way, you turned the corner from wondering what it is you were supposed to be doing to just doing it well. Your board reports were always well-rounded and thoughtful and kind of all people. And your professionalism as a young person is equal and matched to many adults that we come across, and you ought to be really proud of yourself. So what I can say is, whether you pursue law or anything else, if you take the same sense of self that you brought to this role, hard work, listen and learn, evolve and grow, accept mistakes, and embrace the opportunities that life presents you. You're going to do exceptional and you're going to have a great life. And I wish you the best. Donovan, you're the first dude to make it through. We've had, I don't know how many student trustees. They've all been ladies. And so you have no pressure on you. Being the first guy ever from Mountain House High School on the board, we look forward to watching you grow. And if you have any or need any advice, there's someone really wise sitting next to you. Okay? All right. So Mountain House High School named, I believe, for the umpteenth consecutive year, the Distinguished Project Lead the Way School. It's a recognition they earn every year, but that's only because they do exceptional work in the areas of science and project-based learning. This weekend, our band, choir, and orchestra received gold designation from the Forum Festival in Fullerton for their exceptional skills and efforts. Our swim team is throwing down the gauntlet to our tennis program because they have earned their 5th consecutive undefeated league championship in a row and their first in the vaunted Valley Oak League, which is a bigger league with lots more kids and lots of state championships throughout their programs. But let's talk about some of our athletes. You might recognize a couple of names. So in the 200-yard medley relay, first place, Derek Nee, Caden Busatil, Yuji Tan, and Liam Faubert. In the 200-yard individual medley, Caden Busatil. In the 100-yard butterfly, Derek Nye. The 100-yard backstroke, name you might be familiar with, Caden Busatil. And in the 100-yard breaststroke, first place, Yuji Tan. Our varsity girls took second place overall in the Valley Oak League, again, a very competitive athletic league. In the 50-yard freestyle in first place, Aliyah Salagrino, and in the 400-yard freestyle relay, first place, Caitlin Widener, Rachel Prasad, Elisa Redis, and Aliyah Salagrino. So the junior varsity boys swam uncontested, so I guess that they were so good, everyone jumped out of the pool. And the junior varsity girls took second place overall. So now we have a second dominant sport coming out of Mountain House High School, which is known for its prodigious academic program and extracurricular academics, but it's nice to be able to hang some more banners. All right, but that's not it. Noelle's got some pictures here she's going to share. This is from the already mentioned Cal came to visit. I believe President Boulay was correct when it was a recognition for state percentage of students accepted. I believe there were 30 and 25 had already accepted the honor. Cal is a great school. It's local, and congratulations to all the kids. What you're about to see is a photo extravaganza of a selfie artiste, and it is a representation of Mr. Pombo and I's trip to Washington, D.C.
And yes, Kirk's head is way bigger than mine.
So we'd like to thank the board for that opportunity to spread the word of Lammersville and to spread the word of California education, and our district need the funding to do the great work that we do. And so we have that. Now, our last... Yes, ma'am.
Great job on the selfies.
Hey, I'm telling you, and there's about 75 more. But those were the ones that weren't blurry. And then finally this weekend, there was a glorious activity in the community. There was the Mountain House Golf Tournament, and the district office pulled together a team of determined athletes. And though we did not win, I don't know if we even placed, but we made it to a list somewhere. We did have 3 award winners. For most improved swing, Heather Sharp. For the longest birdie putt, Gloria Grijalva. It was a 13-foot downhill, left to right, 8-inch breaker, nothing but net. And best dress, Thorsten, Wallen, Harrison. And Madam President, that is my report.
Thank you. Excellent report. Item B, District Maintenance and Operations Report, Director Dixon.
Good evening. So the weather started to warm up a little this week. We've increased the watering on all the fields to 5 days a week. Also, with the warmer weather, we're working through a few HVAC cooling issues. There are work orders in for those, and they're being addressed. The last repair for the pool was completed last Friday, so everything is operating as it should for the time being. Summer cleaning plans are finally being finalized at the moment. The current civic permit session is going very well. It ends on May 18th for all groups, and then summer session will start here soon. Currently, we have no maintenance or grounds openings. We just filled one custodial vacancy today and selected candidates for the 2 other open positions that we have. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10, action items. Item A, consider approval to renew the Child Care Services Agreement at Wickland Elementary School with Catalyst Family Incorporated for 3 years, 2025 through 2028. Staff report, please.
Yes, this is a long-standing preschools program. It's been there for quite some time. I forget the length of time. This is a new agreement. It's a good relationship. It does well for the kids in that school, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. I will take a motion.
Move to approve to renew the Child Care Services Agreement at Wickland Elementary School with Catalyst Family Incorporated for 3 years, 2025 through 2028.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Olson and a second by Trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item B, consider approval to renew the before and after school services agreement at Hanson Elementary School with Brilliant Minds Academy for 2 years, 2025 through 2027. Staff report, please.
Yes, this has been a before and after school program housed at Hanson for the Hanson students. I believe it's been there since its first year or soon thereafter. We recommend approval.
Thank you. Staff report, or sorry, I'll take a motion.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Or at least a note, right? So I liked it during that student trustee David Gunn mentioned that all my details matter. In the contract, the summer months are listed, right? So it's a continuous term from, I think, August of this year through May of 27 or something like that, which would indicate, if as a layman reading it, that, hey, they're going to pay $1,200 per month for each of those months, which includes the summer months. But I believe further research show that we don't charge them for the summer months, right? So
that's correct.
It would be, my ask, I guess, is we should be, the contract should reflect the reality, right? So if we're not going to charge them for those 2 months, which I'm not saying we should, I don't think we should, then the contract would be clearer if it matched what our intent is.
Okay, I will still take a motion to approve this item, and if anybody has any differences, then we can discover it when we vote, I guess.
Yeah, I think past practice will probably be fine, right? I don't know if the contract needs to go back and be revised and so forth, but it's just a comment for all of our agreements. I think details matter, and we should just make sure that the language reflects what we expect to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Move to approve renewal of the before and after school services agreement at Hanson Elementary School with Brilliant Minds Academy for 2 years, 2025 through 2027.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Pombo and a second by Trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item C, consider approval of Gachina Landscape Management Incorporated 1-year contract for grounds, landscape, and maintenance of district facilities, $595 $1,356 per year. Staff report, please.
Yes, staff, we've been, one of the advantages of our district is we are able to provide landscaping and grounds maintenance with an outside agency. We've had two in my time here over 12 years. Staff met and did an analysis of the services rendered. The decision was made to seek new services. There was an RFP process. Interviews were conducted, and this is the selected party.
Thank you. I will take a motion.
Can I have questions?
Sure.
So I've got a lot. This one gives me a lot of heartburn. So I am in support of changing vendors and the services that have been agreed to and so forth. And I guess my biggest concern is the language of the contract by default, because it's on vendor paper, which means that the vendor drafted the contract using their language. It's favorable to the vendor. And if we're switching vendors, we should put into the contract language that protects the district better, so that, as Superintendent Nicholas had mentioned in answering some questions, so that our staff is not having to chase down the vendor as much as we currently do, and have something back in the contract to refer to say, hey, 0.7 is what we actually intended. Now, there is sufficient research and due diligence on kind of what services will be provided. So I'm not saying that the watering is not enough or things like that, but it's more the, specifically the renewal. When the contract can be renewed, the vendor can increase the price at renewal, but it doesn't say that needs to happen, let's say 90 days ahead of time. So my fear and what I want to protect against is 30 days before the vendor says, okay, we're going to increase by 15% if you want to renew. And at that point, it's probably, I don't know the time that it took to do an RFP, but 30 days is a very short time to do a full RFP and select another vendor. So my ask is that this contract has more detail to say, if you are going to renew, it's going to be at X percent, right? The percentage is also up to the vendor, I guess, or negotiation at that time. So we're not indexed to some sort of price index that's out there. It's not capped on an annual renewal like a lot of contracts are that say up to 3%, 5% on an annual renewal. So I don't think that this contract and the clauses that are within it protect us enough, to give us enough protection so that we are not under leveraged when it comes to renewal. So that's my concerns. I'm in support of the additional funds and the additional services, but I think details matter. The other thing that I thought is unusual is for the list on the contract where it says what's the address of the properties that will get the services, it just lists the district office address. It doesn't list the sevens or the school sites. And so if the layman picks up that contract and says, what is this contract for? It's for $49,000 for services at the district office. And that is what I'm uncomfortable with. So,
So here's the deal. This is a contract with the district. The district staff has negotiated the contract with the vendor. 3 vendors had an opportunity to compete. We are choosing the one we have. We have a 30-day out clause. I'm trying to respond to your statements because your desire for more details is rightfully taken. Not having the addresses of the schools in the contract is to serve the schools. And so therefore, if they're not serving the schools, they're not going to wait till the end. That's going to be immediately addressed by staff. We have a director of maintenance and operations. We have 2 directors and a deputy superintendent that are working directly with the vendor. So I understand the need for more specific details, but even on the pricing, their price on the front value is higher, but when you take all the additional charges of the other vendors, they're more expensive. So it's up to the staff to absorb what's in the contract and to get the most out of the deal. We have chosen to move on because we've had a long-standing relationship with the previous vendor. And when we sat down with them, they promised what they would want to do, and they weren't able to provide it for whatever reasons, staffing issues and such. So even if you delineate every possible scenario, you're still going to have the realities of can they do the work that they said they could do. So moving back to the contract, this contract is almost up with the other vendor, and we're recommending that this be approved. We can certainly go back and sit down with them and discuss the need, if you adding the addresses and things like that. But this was a long process. We followed all the appropriate protocols. So we're satisfied as staff that the contract is clear enough for us to be able to do the work and have them do the work for us at this time. But we can certainly sit down with them and make sure that we have in writing any of these additional details that you're concerned about.
I thank you for that. Two points. One is that there is a 30-day out. The 30-day out is for cause. And so if cause is not agreed to, or if they don't think that that's cause and they want the without cause termination is we owe the entire balance of the contract, which is a lot of money. So that's one.
Well, hold on a second. Yeah. If they're not serving the schools and doing the schools, then they're at cause.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And even the way that the language for remedy is written is confusing, because it says you give 30 days notice for termination, but then they have 30 days to cure. And then if they don't cure, then they're in default, which, the order, I guess, of operations seems a little bit confusing. For usually you give notice of default, 30 days, to cure, and if not, then you terminate. So my only concern is when things go right, the contract doesn't matter, right? And they're going to do the services and we're going to be happy and they get paid. When things go wrong is when we have to then go back to the contracts and the SLAs and performance guarantees and remedies. And that's where I want to have a backstop for the district to say, hey, we've got a really good contract and this language protects us. You guys need to either, put up or we're going to find another vendor and here's a protection. So that's my concern. And I do not question the price, nor do I question the effort that the staff put in to negotiate the contract and do the due diligence on finding the right vendors. I'm 100% supportive of that. My only ask is that the contract language itself be a little bit more detailed to help protect the district, in case something does go south.
Can I just share my perspective? I believe that, first of all, our district staff has been doing this for years and years and years and years. And I feel like they know what they're doing. They have experience with what they're doing. They're way more experienced than what I am comfortable with. They know the ins and outs of these contracts and working with the vendors. And so I'm comfortable moving forward because I also know that particularly with the landscape companies, our district meets with them like regularly, like every week, every couple of weeks, at least twice a month, so that if issues do come up, they can get on those and work with the company. So I'm comfortable with it moving forward as is. Does anybody else have any other opinions?
I concur with your opinion, President Boulay. Staff has way more experience than I have in this matter as well. Working with landscaping companies, they've got the practice and the on-the-ground experience of knowing, what the industry standards are, what the industry terminology is, and the industry understandings and meanings of the mind are. So I trust staff and believe if they have vetted this contract and believe that it's serving the purposes of the district, that the language is acceptable, and I'm ready to make a motion unless other comments are.
The only comment I have is that I agree with Trustee Modi that more than 30 days, should they wish to increase the price, would be beneficial, I believe. Because as he stated, they can wait till the contract's almost over, drop a big increase on us, and then we could be potentially stuck with nobody to perform the services while we look for someone else because we don't like their price increase.
I would agree with Trustee Modi too. It's just kind of like a protection for our district. And that's how I view it.
Staff's recommendation is to approve the item, and we will address the matters that the board has brought forward after it's approved. Or if you don't approve it, then we don't have enough time, or we'll have to figure out another way.
So I'll take a motion for this item, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Are we able to approve the expense with the asks to to put some specificity for the renewal terms, renewal notice, I guess? How would it work?
One, it's generally not practice that the board negotiates a contract from the dais during a board meeting. Number two, the three staff members have negotiated this. The board can approve it and give direction to get more specificity in writing. It'd be like an MOU. MOUs happen all the time with contracts. The people who do the work on here have a long history of working with vendors and contractors. And we almost in all occasions end up on the winning end of any kind of dispute. So what I'm recommending is that you approve this and that we can take in note the detail of address and the detail of the potential hypothetical situation, not hypothetical, that they could come in with a significant increase in price, which has not happened in the past, but it could happen tomorrow. But we have other remedies as well. So yeah, we could sit down with them and talk about that.
I will move to approve the Gashina Landscape Management Incorporated one-year contract for grounds, landscape, and maintenance of district facilities in the amount of $595,356 a year.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Pombo, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item D, consider approval of the 2025-2026 Governing Board Meeting calendar.
So these are the dates. The board approves these at this time of the year, and then we'll set them in and communicate them to the community and through our systems.
Thank you. I'll take a motion at this time.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 Governing Board Meeting calendar.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Daniel and a second by trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item E, consider approval of contract with A+ Inspection Services for the Department of State Architecture's DSA required inspections for Neighborhood J Elementary School. Staff report.
Yes, so one of the have-tos is you have a contractor, you have a district, and there has to be a third-party independent who makes sure that the state regulations and requirements are being followed by the contractor as a second set of eyes. For the district, we recommend approval.
I'll take a motion.
Move to approve of contract with A+ Inspection Services for the Department of State Architecture, DSA, required inspections for Neighborhood J Elementary School.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item F, consider approval of agreement for legal services with Lozano Smith for the 2025-2026 school year. Staff report, please.
Yes, we have a long-standing relationship with Lozano Smith. They are a highly regarded statewide firm. When we have a general question, like when something comes up and we say, is this, how do you what do you advise on this, or is this appropriate? Is there a way that this might get us in some trouble? We recommend approval. They do good work for us.
Move to approve the agreement for legal services with Lozano Smith for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Daniel and a second by trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item G, consider approval of second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Staff report.
We had the first tranche come through. This is the second tranche. There's been no questions or feedback, so we recommend approval.
I'll move to approve the second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Second.
Thank you. Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item H, consider approval of memorandum of understanding between the San Joaquin County Office of Education and Lammersville Unified School District for participation in the Science Community of Practices for California Mathematics, Science, and Computer Science, otherwise known as CAL-MSCS. Staff report.
Yeah, so this is a unique thing. One of our coordinators was chosen to represent San Joaquin County at this conference. to gather this information, bring it back to the district and the county. And so we recommend approval for her to have that experience and us to get that information.
Awesome.
Move to approve memorandum of understanding between San Joaquin County Office of Education and Lammersville Unified School District for participation in the Science Community of Practices for California Mathematics, Science, and Computer Science, CalMSCS.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item I, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 24-25-17 to establish temporary interfund transfers. Staff report?
Yes, so every year we do this. There's the fiscal year ends on June 30. The new fiscal year starts on July 1. This allows us to do cash transfers if there has to be some bills paid in between the fiscal years. Recommend approval.
Thank you. I'll take a motion.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution 24-25-17 to establish temporary interfund transfers.
Second.
Thank you. Student preferential vote, please?
Aye.
And I believe this is a roll call vote, so, sorry. Oh, yeah, based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Daniel.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Vanita Daniel. Aye. Samik Modi,
Aye.
Stephanie Olson,
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye.
Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item J, consider approval of new and updated certificated management job descriptions and salary effective July 1st, 2025. Staff report, please.
Yeah, so one of my favorite words is serendipity. And a few years ago, we made a decision that there was so much pressure coming on the district in the areas of student services that we weren't able to handle it with the staff that we had. So I made a recommendation with staff support to the board that we need to start a new position called our new department, Student Services. 4 months later, COVID broke out and Student Services was put in charge. And so it was serendipitous of us to be able to do this. Over time, that department has grown and grown and grown. The expectations from the community and all education communities and from the state, which keeps bringing mandate after mandate, it has proven to be a wise decision by the board to bring that department on. Today, at the county-wide celebration of education held by the County Office of Ed, our student services program was given a shout out at the short video, and we'd like to show some of the good work that that department and its leader have done.
The restorative practices specialists, they are a very fine-tuned team working with our mental health counselors. And what we are looking for is students across grade levels to know that there is more trusted adults. It's not just their classroom teacher or teachers if they're in our middle school or high school, but there's someone else that they might see in the hallway that knows them, sees them, is happy to see them at school that day.
With restorative circles, it's a way for the kids to resolve conflict in a manner that allows them to vocalize their frustrations or their feelings in a controlled environment. None of the practices that we can implement really work without the trust factor between yourself and the student. So I spend a lot of time making sure that the kids are aware of who I am, what I do, why I'm doing it, and just to kind of meet them at their level.
I think I learned a better sense of self-control and being more mature or handling situations better than I did before. They were able to give me help and help me understand how I was feeling more so that in that moment I could think to myself and say okay, I can calm down in this moment and I don't have to react like that.
Most what I've learned from Miss Sophia is people usually think with their emotions and not logically. So just take the time to calm down your emotions and just have a conversation about it, and then you can work from there.
So Parent Project and Loving Solution, they are two programs that we offer in our district that help support parents. Parents have said that their kids now communicate better with them and that they're not as defiant. They share things with them. They're wanting to do more family things with them. They're more involved, which is great. With Parent Project, we're able to sit there and help them and give them the tools on things that they can implement at home.
I think one of the biggest things I learned was that I had to understand my role as a parent and how my reactions affect her behavior. And so I learned a lot of resources and tools on how to help her through the tough times.
So I think Parenting Solution is a solution that helps not only for parents,
but also will indeed help their kids to understand what is the basic of life, what is humanity, how important it is to be kind, how important it is to cooperate each other, and how to bring up the healthy environment and healthy friends around us.
So that's just one example of a program that's been created in our district with some great ideas shared by people. And then what we like to do is take a great idea, give it to a great leader, and have it grow. In our student services department, we have multiple examples of that. We just don't have a fancy video for all of them. So the position was moved from a director position to an executive director position, but really the size, scope, and scale of its impact and of the job responsibility, executive director is not large enough. So I'm recommending that we create or that the boards approve the job description for assistant superintendent of student services. Secondarily, we decided that other departments are going to grow in size, scope, and scale as well. And to have a job description for executive director at the district leadership level is a better model than to have a job description specific to a particular department and have to 2 years then make a change. So we're recommending both job descriptions for approval for preparation for the growth that's coming rapidly to our district.
Thank you. And I'll take a motion.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is the assistant superintendent, so the executive director of student services, would that title still exist? Would that headcount exist?
In this case, the assistant superintendent it'll disappear, and then any future executive directors will fall under that position.
Under the second one?
Under the second one, correct.
Got it. So it won't be specific to a department?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Appreciate it.
I'll move to approve new and updated certificated management job descriptions and salary effective July 1st, 2025.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes.
And then there's one final statement. The superintendent of schools is going to appoint Irene Busatil, effective July 1, 2025, as our new assistant superintendent of student services.
Congratulations. And at this time, I would like to invite Assistant Superintendent Busatil to the podium to say a few words.
Good evening, board. Dr. Nicholas. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. You know, a lot of the great things that I'm able to do is because of leadership and support of our school board. So I really appreciate not just looking in the moment, but like way out far beyond. And so that's why I love working here, because our leadership comes from the top back down to our students, and then vice versa, from our students all the way back up to our school board. I do want to thank Dr. Nicholas. I think I maybe have shared this before, the sentiment that he pushes me outside of my comfort zone. He sees things in me likely before I see them for myself. He's a tremendous leader. He supports all of us, not just like with words, but with actions and opportunities. And so I really am appreciative of that. And then I do have awesome big brother Thor. So I do remember, I don't do it quite as frequently, but still lots, you know, footsteps up the stairs and down the stairs, because I always know that his door is open to me, and I can always ask questions. And I'm part of like a really fantastic team, not just here at the district office with all of us here, but that goes to our school sites and everyone that supports our school sites. So with that, I want to assure you that I will continue to do my very, very best to support our students and our community, to make sure that I continue to be deserving of the opportunities that I've been given. And I do have to say thank you to my family, because they give me a lot of support as well at home, to when I know like things are taken care of and I have all of the things at home, everything settled, that allows me to come to work and stay focused on making sure that I'm supporting all of our district goals.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Mm-hmm. Item K, consider approval to adjourn from regular session to open the public hearing on the preliminary environmental assessment PEA report for proposed future school site, Neighborhood J Elementary School, and naming of the Neighborhood J K-8 Elementary School. Staff report?
Yes, so they're two distinct things, but they have to do with the same school. So the PEA report satisfies one of the state regulatory monsters, the Department of Toxic Substances. Believe it or not, you can't really get going on a project until they get out of the way. So this hearing satisfies an important box to check. The second of which is that a naming committee was put together and discussed potential names for the school site, and the name Pombo Elementary came forward as a unanimous selection, and so that's the purpose of this hearing.
Thank you. And so I will take a motion to move to open public hearing.
Move to adjourn from regular session to open the public hearing.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Olson and a second by Trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in open public hearing. Seeing no public comments, I will take a motion to close the public hearing and return to regular session.
I move to close the public hearing and return to regular session.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Modi and a second by Trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no noes. Item M, consider approval of recommendation from the district's school naming committee to name Neighborhood J, K-8 Elementary School, Pombo Elementary School. Staff report, please. Any additional staff report?
No, other than the discussion was had, multiple names were considered. This was the unanimous selection based on the Pombo family and all of its incredible dedication to the local community.
Can I ask, I guess, comments and questions. So first, I want to start off by saying, Trustee Pombo, none of my comments have to do with anything related to the fact that it's your family's name. So please don't take any of the comments. One thing that you guys have probably come to know, I care a lot about process and I care a lot about the details. And naming a building or a school after a current board member's family, to me, deserves stricter scrutiny than otherwise. And it's not the same as the neighborhood's already called X and we're going to call the school X like many of our other schools. So thank you to Dr. Nicholas, sent me historical kind of context to the process of the committee. So back in 2006, there's a county board order, B06630. It listed some then determined names and some other neighborhoods that did not have names. Neighborhood J was not named at that time. It refers to a naming committee for schools that was established at that time at the district, but it does not prescribe the school naming committee. Notably, it also refers to board members in the plural. In fact, the school naming committee is referred to as the district has a naming committee. And it's referred to it only under the parks section, not a specific school section, because it wanted the parks to be named the same as the adjacent schools. It does not use the word shall or will in referring to the school naming committee. We then have District Board Policy 7310, adopted in 2011, specifically for naming district-owned buildings, which refers to a citizen advisory committee that would be appointed by the board. Citizen advisory committee is Board Policy 1220 that says shall be appointed, which to my knowledge, and I did miss a couple board meetings, I may have missed it on the video, I don't think a citizen advisory committee was appointed. There were only a couple residents of our school district on the committee, both of whom are affiliated with the school district. The naming committee wasn't announced at a prior board meeting or to the community who may have an interest in the process. So from a process standpoint, I think we can and should do better. I don't believe that the process that was followed reflects what our board policy is, and I suggest that we actually appoint a citizens advisory committee that's open to the community, that brings back a recommendation, again, per our existing board policy.
Historically, you don't have the information well, let me say it this way. The original plan and the master plan was that the neighborhood be named after the school, the park as well. I don't know why some schools were named and others weren't, but neighborhood J wasn't supposed to have a school. The committee that was put together, the naming committee, was based on a board bylaw, and we followed the provisions in the board bylaw. It met the standard in the county regulation, or whatever you want to call it, which required the developer and the general manager to participate. So we met those provisions. The previous time we did this, we followed the exact same model. And that was the way it was done, and it was approved by the board. So the process was based on the naming committee provision. To point out the parks part, that's just part of the master plan and the county plan and the approval process. We can't go back in time and change that and make it more direct. The process was followed correctly. We invited appropriate people based on the bylaw, and the historical record that we have used in the past was used, and the recommendation from staff is that we follow what we put forward here tonight. If the board wants to discuss changing that, that's the process, Mr. Modi, is you bring forward, we need to change the process, and that's a policy decision, which is the board's purview. But the policies that you were provided and that have been provided to staff were followed. And different parts don't always perfectly align in your references there, but the naming committee was followed the board bylaw. So what I would suggest is if you want to change the process, then you bring it to the president. We have a discussion about it, and there are other schools to name, and we can follow whatever direction the board wants to. But the previous board that approved this and the practice that we followed is exactly what we did, because we did it before when we named Cordis, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a board bylaw, or board policy 7310, naming of facility from 2011. It says the board encourages community participation in the process of selecting names. A citizen advisory committee shall be appointed to review name suggestions and submit recommendations for the board's consideration. So I don't agree that the process followed matches the board policy that we have adopted back in 2011. And so that's why, to me, it's a discrepancy, and I'm not sure, it could be a difference of interpretation, but to me, it's clear that it says a citizen advisory committee shall be appointed. And I don't think we appointed a committee or a citizen advisory committee. And then citizen advisory committee is a term that exists elsewhere in our board policy. So I don't feel comfortable just with the process. And so for that reason, I'm not supportive, regardless of the name that was chosen. I'm not supportive of the process that was followed, which I don't think contorts to our board policy that's adopted.
The naming committee provision says to have the developer included, which has been historic practice, to include the general manager, and to include, I believe it's a board member. So again, we followed the same process we did last time. If you would like to change the process, you have every right to do so. You bring it to the president, we put an info discussion item down, and you can change, if you believe there's a difference in interpretation or there needs to be clarification, you have every right to ask for that, and I support that 100%. However, we followed the same process we did last time.
Sorry, continue.
No,
I understand we may follow the same process. I'm going to read from the county regulation, or the county where I think you're referencing the naming committee. The names of neighborhood parks will be consistent with the names of the adjacent school and will share its names with the specific neighborhood, village. A Lammersville School Naming Committee has been established. So it's referring to a committee that at the time existed to name the schools and is made up of, and it's now describing the committee that was made up at that time. It is not prescribing it. The Lammersville School Board members, plural, the superintendent of schools, the MHCSD general manager, and a representative from the developer conditioned to build the subject neighborhood, village, and school. Then it goes on to say the school naming committee considers important persons and places as well as historical and blah, blah, blah. Lammersville School Board then ratifies the selected name. Once the name is chosen, the school, the neighborhood park, and the neighborhood village itself are all to share as nearly as practicable the same name. So in my view, the county regulation from 2006 refers to a school naming committee that existed at that time. In 2011, the district, through a policy, said, here's how we want to name schools, and here's how we're going to define that committee, which is now a citizen advisory committee. And that's the process that should have existed, whether the school's name from 2011 did not follow that process or not. But I'm aware of it now, and in 2025, that's the latest policy in the process that we have. So I don't understand. I don't think relying on the historical, precedence of what we've done, which may have been incorrect in my view, binds us to what we should do now. I would look at the policy that exists as valid today, which talks about a citizen advisory committee, which isn't what we appointed. So that's my concern. I think I've shared it, and if others do not agree with me, then that's more, obviously everyone's entitled to their own interpretation, but those are the reasons why I'm not comfortable with the process followed.
Anybody else have any comments? Since this is an agenda item, I will move forward with the vote. So I will take a motion at this time.
I have a question. I'm just trying to process all that Trustee Modi was mentioning. So you mentioned the Citizen Board Committee existed 2011, and then we did not bring forth the committee when we named last school. Is my understanding correct?
So that confuses me a little bit. There's only one person here that was in their role in 2011. You wouldn't have a standing naming committee, especially when you have schools open that had previously been named. So as needed, kind of. So we didn't have a name for Cordis. So we followed the process. And our interpretation of that model, and we repeated that on this one. So there wasn't a standing naming committee. I don't agree with Mr. Modi's interpretation of a standing, if that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying a standing naming committee exists. What I'm suggesting is that when names are to be determined, the board then is supposed to, per our policy, appoint a citizens advisory committee that would then bring back recommendations for a name. That's how I read policy 7310. So not that there's a single committee that lasts 15 years, for example.
And that's exactly.
So I guess what I'm saying is that in the previous process, the information that was brought forward, there was a collection of feedback that had been given for previous names based on the historical record. What's not written in the policy is that the boards had directed staff to keep names within people who are regional and who had an impact on the region. So that's not in the policy, but we keep following that. And so there was a list of all the names considered over time that were brought forward. I believe 2013 was the last time that was collected. That was brought forward to the Cordis naming committee, and it was brought forward in this one, as well as two very brief historical pieces from the Mountain House region and the people who settled it back in the 1800s, and one gentleman's diary, or a passage from a diary. So that was the information that was shared. There are no citizens in Neighborhood J, and the whole point of the naming committee is to have the architecture reflect the entry point, reflect the park in the school. Not written in that policy is that College Park is named College Park and the school is named Costa. So there is these policies that we follow, but the information that was collected over time and presented to the naming committee was consistent with all the names that have been gathered over time by previous superintendents, myself, and the naming committees that predate me, and the two I've been a part of.
I understand what you're sharing. Do we have this written somewhere in our policy as to, we get a list of the process that's been followed after 2013?
So there's been no change to the process since we named Cordis. There's been no written direction that it be local and regional important people. So there's kind of two answers to that. What I'm explaining is the two processes I've been involved in which we name schools. And I think you have all I can say is that all the information that's been collected that you could apply to names that are associated with Mountain House have been collected over time. And they have been kept in a file, and they were presented to the naming committee. The naming committee included the two references that Mr. Modi made to the developer who could not make the meeting and the general manager. We reviewed the names, and a selection was made, and the staff is recommending board approval.
I feel like we have followed the same process that we have in the past. Since the last naming, we have had no new direction from the board. So I feel I am comfortable moving forward with this vote. It is on the agenda. We either need to approve it or not approve it. And so I'm going to bring it forward for a vote.
Yeah, Trustee Boulay, I was thinking the same thing as you. I'm going off of precedent, that we have a precedent that we followed, and because we have not had direction from any board members or decision to make any changes. I think by not moving forward, we are actually moving away from precedent, and what has been established is the practice. So with that, I will make a motion to approve of recommendation from the district's school naming committee to name neighborhood J, K through 8 elementary school, Pombo Elementary School.
I second it. With my second, I do want to say that I like the selection personally, but I do want to, just echo the process factor. Now that we have discussed about it, if there is a way that we could put it in place somewhere, where like how Trustee Modi was able to pull it up, what happened in 2011. If we could have it out there instead of us saying that we did this last time, so that's what we're going to follow, or that's what we are trying to follow. If we could have it somewhere as a process, that will be great.
Right. We could bring this back, depending on how the vote goes, and discuss how to clarify any of these concerns.
The suggestion, though, that
Can we move forward with the vote?
I want to make a comment. The suggestion that we have the opportunity to bring, if we wanted to change the process, the board never had noticed that this committee was going to be formed or coordinated at a board meeting. So there was no opportunity at a previous board meeting to say, hey, we're going to do this committee, and then we could come back and say, hey, we want to change it or follow a different process. So it's almost like, hey, you should have made a comment, but we never told you
I
that we were
beg
going
to differ because we knew this was coming up. We know there's a groundbreaking happening in a month or two. So we knew that we were getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through the whole process. We've already approved a whole bunch of stuff. So we knew this was going to be happening. So I disagree.
Yeah, I
with
disagree
the
as
comment
well.
that we didn't know.
It could be, and I maybe that's my naivety. I did not know that approving yes, at some point a name would need to be determined. I did not know the timeline of that, and it didn't give an opportunity to review kind of the process and see if it conformed to kind of what I interpret to be the board policy.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries with 4 ayes and 1 no. Item N, consider approval.
Steve Blake, can I just say something?
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to make the comment because of the discussion, but I think outside of, the disagreement that Trustee Modi has on the process, I think we can all agree that the Pombo family has made substantial contributions to this community for generations. And that's kind of, I think the driving factor that's gone behind the naming of each of our schools. Like I remember being at the Costa groundbreaking and learning about Evelyn Costa and everything that she did for the surrounding areas. And that is, the Pombo family has done equal, if not greater, good than those families. And so I have no qualms about the naming committee selection. And I think it's pretty amazing that, the developer and the general manager were the ones that probably, I wasn't there. I don't know what the committee said, but I'm guessing they had to be the ones that made the recommendation based on all of the names that have been collected over time. And I just wanted to state that on the record.
I agree.
And I would just like to say I'm honored and humbled by the feeling of the district that my family deserves this recognition, and thank you.
Thank you. Item N, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 24-25-18 for issuance and sale of special tax bonds for the purpose of financing authorized facilities and approving and authorizing related documents and actions for the Lammersville Joint Unified School District Community Facilities District number 2024-1, Mountain House School Facilities. Staff report.
Yeah, so this is one of the really important steps in terms of the selling of bonds. In order to fund Pombo Elementary School, we are going to have two tranches of bonds from CFD 24-1. The first one will be over $38 million to be applied to the construction of the school. The second one, depending on how much development in the bond market, then we hope that will cover the second and all of the costs, and we don't have to do other means to fund the second half of the construction.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion.
I move. Oh, go ahead.
Move to approve the Governing Board Resolution 24-25-18 for issuance and sale of special tax bonds for the purpose of financing authorized facilities and approving and authorizing related documents and actions for the Lammersville Joint Unified School District Community Facilities District number 2024-1.
Do we have a second? Thank you.
Sorry.
Based on a motion by Trustee Daniel and a second by Trustee Modi, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Roll
Motion
call.
carries with 5 ayes and no nos.
Could I do a roll call?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I even wrote it down here. Roll call vote, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Aye.
Benita Daniel.
Aye.
Samik Modi.
Aye.
Stephanie Olson.
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye.
Item O, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 24-25-19, authorizing pupil board member scholarship. Staff report, please.
Yes, we did a lot of analysis on this, and the staff has a recommendation, which comes with a resolution. We discussed two different vehicles to address a new law that came forward on January 1st, 2024. The first option, which is based in the specific language of that law, required a student petition who petitioned to have a student trustee, and if that did happen, it triggered a funding of student trustee pay. A second provision, which was more aligned with what our board discussion was at the last meeting, was to follow the scholarship route. So staff is recommending that we establish a annual student trustee scholarship of $2,000 to be awarded after the year of service to the student trustee. And then secondarily, because we have a unique situation here, we have a two-term student trustee. This is the third two-term student trustee, so we want to be clear with the board that it's $2,000 per year of service, not $2,000 for. And second, we think it only fair that the new provision of the law, which opened the door for student trustees to be paid in mass, we feel also it'd be fair to Trustee Vitellani that we add an additional $1,000 to her scholarship for a total of $3,000 for a 2-year service. But moving forward beyond there, Donovan, for example, will, for years of service at completion, get $2,000
Thank you.
in a scholarship.
I will move to approve of Governing Board Resolution 24-25-19, authorizing pupil board member scholarship as just explained by Dr. Nicholas.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote,
Aye.
and a roll call vote, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Aye.
Vanita Daniel.
Aye.
Samik Modi.
Aye.
Stephanie Olson.
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item P, consider approval of second reading and adoption of updated board bylaws 9250 and 9150. Staff report, please.
Yes, so this just puts into the board bylaws what I just explained.
Thank you. And I will take a motion.
Move to approve the second reading and adoption of updated board bylaws 9250 and 9150.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Daniel and a second by trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. Item 11, calendar. Item A, Thursday, May 8th, is the Facilities Committee meeting at 6:30 here in the District Office Boardroom. Item B, Wednesday, May 21st, is the District Advisory Committee at 6:15 here in the District Office Boardroom. Item C, Wednesday, May 21st, is the next regular governing board meeting at 7 o'clock here in the District Office Boardroom. And in a moment, we are going to adjourn to closed session where we will discuss item A, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release Complaint, Government Code Section 54957, and item B, Conference with Real Property Negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.8.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes and no nos. We are now adjourned to closed session at 8:41.